This moon doesn't just illuminate the night, it wakes up something inside you. On February 12th, space will become different. The air is denser, the silence is deeper, and your thoughts are clearer than ever. The snow moon is what they call it. But this year, its light carries something more than a cyclical ritual of nature. Do you feel it already? Maybe it's a slight worry for no reason, or dreams that are too vivid, as if they carry a message. Maybe it feels like something is about to change, but you don't know what it is yet. This is not an accident. This moon is able to awaken those who are ready to hear its call. She is in the sign of Leo, which means that the energy goes to the very heart of your being. Her light doesn't just illuminate, it burns out illusions, leaving only the truth. The full moon is always a time of climax, but this time its power creates a point of awakening that cannot be ignored. This process has already begun. The question is, are you ready to look in the mirror and see what's hidden? Why is this full moon special? There are moments when the energy of the universe gathers at one point, creating an impulse that cannot be ignored. February 12th is one of those moments. The snow moon in Leo does not just bring light, it triggers a wave of awakening that will cover everyone who is ready to receive it. Why this particular moon? It opens in the sign of Leo, which means that the energy rushes to the center of your being, to your inner sun. It's not about external changes. It's about what's burning inside you, what you've been silent about for a long time, but what you can no longer hold on to. You will have to see the truth and either accept it or turn away. But there is another important point. The full moon in Leo is the only one this year that coincides with rare astrological aspects that change the course of things. On this day, the sun connects with Mercury in Aquarius, creating the perfect backdrop for insights, prophetic dreams, and unexpected realizations. It's like someone flicks a switch in a dark room, and what used to be blurry now appears in all its clarity. But this clarity can be unexpected, abrupt, even shocking. That's because Uranus, the planet of sudden change, is coming into play. Her intense aspect with the moon can manifest itself in the form of flashes of awareness, unexpected conversations, and events that change everything in a moment. This full moon is not soft. It shakes, throws off masks, makes you see the world as it is. But the most important thing is that it awakens. How exactly? It's up to you. Some will feel forgotten emotions, thoughts, and fears resurface that they have been avoiding for years. Others will feel a sudden need for change, as if it is simply impossible to continue along the old path. Someone realizes that their soul has been asking for freedom for a long time, but fear prevented them from taking a step. And if at this moment you notice unusual signs, coincidences, sudden conversations in which the truth sounds, know that this is not an accident. The universe rarely speaks at full volume, but on days like this, it gives you a chance to hear its whispers. This moon starts a process that won't stop when night turns to morning. It will continue to unfold in you day after day until you either accept the changes or let them pass by. Are you ready for this, or do you need another confirmation? Awakening. What does it mean in the context of this full moon? Awakening is not a sudden flash of awareness, not a loud voice in your head saying that it's time to change something. It's a quiet call that gets louder and louder until you can't ignore it. And on this full moon, it will sound especially clear. The moon in Leo carries the energy of disclosure. This is a sign that requires not just living, but burning, expressing oneself, and putting aside doubts and fears. At such moments, a person feels real, without masks and conventions, but not everyone is ready for this. That is why the snow moon acts differently. Its light not only illuminates, but also cleanses, removing all unnecessary things. It's like a change of season inside you, past thoughts, old beliefs, people and situations that no longer fit you. All of this will start to recede, even if you're not ready to let it go. You will feel it. Maybe it's an unusual nostalgia, as if the past is trying to remind you of itself for the last time. Maybe it's a feeling of inner shift, when you suddenly realize that old attachments have weakened and you are no longer who you were. Or, on the contrary, a sharp flash of emotion, a memory that will cover with renewed vigor. Only now it will be impossible to suppress it. That's because this moon awakens the inner voice, and if you might not have heard it before, now it will sound more and more clearly. How do you know that the awakening is already underway? You suddenly find it difficult to be where you used to be calm. It feels like something is wrong, but you can't explain what it is. You have an urgent need to do something that previously seemed impossible. You can no longer ignore the internal conflict that has been with you for years. But the most important thing is not just thoughts. The moon in Leo does not tolerate inactivity. She ignites the action. You may feel a desire to abruptly change the vector of life. Start something that you have been putting off for a long time. Get out of situations that make it difficult to breathe. And this is not an emotional outburst. It is the awakening of something that has always lived inside you, but had no power to manifest itself. The full moon on February 12th is the moment when you can no longer pretend that you don't know what you want. This does not mean that the changes will happen instantly, but that means you won't be able to stop them. Now the only question is, will you follow this call, or will you pretend again that you didn't feel anything? Inner rift. What does the moon reveal in you? Some people think that waking up is an easy process, that it looks like a flash of light, after which everything becomes clear. But if it were that simple, this moment wouldn't be called a rift. The full moon in Leo is not a gentle awakening, but a jolt that breaks old structures inside you. What you believed in, who you thought you were, how you saw this world. Everything can change in an instant. But change is never painless. Some will feel the chaos, as if the old world is collapsing, and the new one has not yet fully manifested. It's like a man standing in a doorway, but there's only fog outside. Others will feel empty. The usual feeling of confidence will disappear. Old attachments will disappear. The world will look the same, but inside there will be a feeling that something important is leaving, but something new has not yet taken its place. This moon removes all unnecessary things, and many will find it disturbing. Those who still cling to the past will feel resistance, fear, and a sense that the ground is slipping away from under their feet. And those who are ready for change, on the contrary, will feel an incredible surge of strength, but without a clear understanding of where to move on. And that's the whole point of this moon. She doesn't give ready answers. It burns out illusions, removing false paths and leaving you with a choice. Will you cling to the old, or will you allow yourself to step into the unknown? This rift is not the destruction of you, but the destruction of an old version of your reality. You may feel irritation, strange emotions, and an internal conflict that has suddenly become stronger. This is not an accident. This means that what you are used to is no longer working. This can manifest itself in the most unexpected moments. A conversation that suddenly reveals a long-forgotten truth. A person who seems to be exposing your old fears without even realizing it. The sudden realization that you can no longer put up with something that you've been enduring for years. This rift pushes the boundaries of reality, but the sooner you let go of control, the easier it will be to get through it. How to accept it? Don't try to understand what is happening with your mind. It defies logic. Don't cling to old patterns. They are no longer working, just listen. This moon speaks loudly, but only to those who are ready to hear. She is already leading you. The main thing is not to resist. How to use the energy of this full moon? This night does not require words or promises from you. She doesn't expect you to write a plan or decide that everything will be different from tomorrow. It just starts the process. And the only thing that depends on you is whether you let him turn around. There are moments when the world speaks to you in a whisper, in chance encounters, strange coincidences, sudden feelings that you are not just observing your life, but living something important. On this full moon, that whisper will get louder. How do I hear it? First, don't turn away. If a feeling of anxiety or strange excitement suddenly rises inside, do not try to drown it out. Do not run away into the usual rituals. Do not try to distract yourself. Instead, listen carefully. It's like there's a door in front of you where something is waiting. You don't have to open it, but at least get closer to understand what it sounds like. Secondly, allow yourself to express what is asking for outside. Sometimes the full moon ignites strange desires. Suddenly you want to write something down, draw, say something, or just go outside and walk in complete darkness. These desires are not an accident. It's the subconscious mind that gets a voice that night. Maybe you'll want to take apart old things, and you'll find something in your hands that you haven't touched in years. Or you might suddenly need to talk to someone you haven't been in touch with for a long time. Or you'll hear music that makes you feel like something has clicked inside you. This is not an accident. It is an invitation to join the process that is already underway. What should I do? Leave space for the thoughts that come that night. Let them just be, without analysis or judgment. Keep an eye on what resonates with you. If it seems to you that something is important, then it really is. Talk to those who feel the same way. It's not necessarily close. It can even be strangers. Sometimes the right words come from where you don't expect. Do what you're drawn to, even if it seems pointless. The moon in Leo is the energy of manifestation. It does not need a logical explanation. Don't look for answers. Just let them come. At such moments, they always find a way. The full moon doesn't require any action. It just lights up the road. All you have to do is see her. The light of this moon does not just reflect on the surface. It penetrates deeper than it seems. He does not give a clear answer, does not tell where to go, but illuminates everything that was previously hidden in the shadows. What will you do with this knowledge? In the coming days, you may notice subtle signals. Phrases that used to pass by will suddenly catch on. Thoughts that seemed random will turn out to be more important than you thought. The choice you were afraid to make may become inevitable. But the main thing is that this process has already begun. He doesn't ask if you're ready. It doesn't stop, even if you ignore it. This moon has come to awaken what has been waiting inside you for a long time. Don't try to keep the familiar. Allow yourself to go into a new one, even if it is not yet clear. The question is not whether there will be changes. They're already coming. The question is, will you follow them?